Today, we're bringing you the pros and cons of living in Frankfort, Illinois. Let's go. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another edition of Chicago Suburbs Living. As always, I'm your guide, John Sintich. I'm your go-to Chicagoland realtor in the Chicagoland area. Today, I'll be covering the top 5 pros and the top 5 cons of living in Frankfort, Illinois. Recently, I made another video about the pros and cons of living in Tinley Park, which I'll link up there if you want to go check that out. If you are someone that needs to buy or sell real estate in Frankfort or the Chicagoland area in general, I am a licensed realtor in the state of Illinois. I'd love to help you out. Just reach out to me. All my contact information is below in the description and on this video. Let's get right into it. Frankfort is a small village in the south suburbs of Illinois with a population of about 20,000 people. It's known for its small town charm, a great downtown area, some really nice parks, and great schools. I've gathered these pros and cons from my own experience in Frankfort. I live in the area. I've also reached out to folks that live in Frankfort to get some of this information as well, straight from the source. I'm gonna go through all the pros first, so if you want the cons, you do have to stay to the end of this video, but I promise you it will be worth watching. So without further ado, let's get into the pros and cons of living in Frankfort. The first pro of living in Frankfort is great schools. Frankfort is home to some of the best schools in the state of Illinois. The Lincoln Way Community High School District 210 is one of the top rated school districts in the entire state. I actually did a video recently on this subject of top 5 school districts in the state of Illinois, and this school district was on the list. So go check that video out if you have some time as well after this video. Great schools in Frankfort, some of the best in the state. So if you're looking for an area with great schools, definitely want to consider Frankfort. Number 2, safe community. Frankfort has a very, very low crime rate. It's a quiet town. Not a ton of crime there. It's a very safe place to live if that's something you value. The police here work tirelessly to keep the community very safe. Our third pro is the downtown area. Frankfort does have this small town feel that's really hard to find in some of these other south suburbs. And the downtown area is, I think it's a very elite downtown scene. Compared to some of the other south suburbs, the downtown Frankfort is really unique. There's not a ton of downtowns like this in the other south suburbs. Definitely check out Frankfort's downtown area. It's filled with a ton of unique little mom and pop shops, great restaurants, bars, Fat Rosie's, Francesca's, Trail's Edge. There's a really nice divey kind of a bar, and I say that in the most endearing way possible. It's my kind of place. Old Plank Trail, great bar, great outdoor space as well. Every year in September, downtown Frankfort hosts Fall Fest, which is one of the most fun events of the entire summer in the south suburbs, in my opinion. It's a massive festival in downtown Frankfort with artisan booths, food, music, drinks. It's a great time. Number 4 is Scenic Parks. Frankfort has several beautiful parks located throughout the suburb, and they're perfect for outdoor activities. Commissioner's Park, for example, is a favorite among the residents of Frankfort. It's at least 50 to 60 acres, tons of space for various outdoor activities. And pro number 5 is the location in proximity to the city of Chicago. Frankfort's only about a 35-40 minute drive on a good day with no traffic. You hop on I-80 to 57 to 9094 and you're there. So you can get to the city and experience all the fun, exciting parts of Chicago and then jet back home 35-40 minutes. Location's phenomenal. Okay, before I get into the cons of living in Frankfort, if you're getting any value out of this video whatsoever, if you've learned some valuable things, please do me a huge favor. Like this video and subscribe to my channel for more videos just like this one. Okay, let's get to the cons. Our first con is going to be cost of living. Frankfort does have a higher cost of living on average compared to the national cost of living index. It's not terribly higher than the average cost of living. You can see here the national index is going to be 100 and Frankfort is 106. What's really driving up the cost of living index in Frankfort is housing. Houses are typically a lot more expensive in Frankfort. Some areas can be a little bit more affordable than others, but overall the cost of buying a home in Frankfort is going to be higher than other areas. Our second con is going to be transportation. So getting into the city from Frankfort is totally doable and easy by car, as I mentioned before, but if you're trying to take the train, there is no metro station or train station that's going to take you into the city located in Frankfort. To get there, you're going to have to drive about 10 minutes into Mokina or Tinley Park to get to one of those metro stations that'll shoot you into the city. Frankfort also has limited walkability, meaning you can't just walk outside of your house and walk to like a store or something like that, unless you live closer to downtown Frankfort. Then it's totally possible. Most of the time, you do need a car to live in Frankfort. Number 3 is going to be harsh winters. If you live in Frankfort or you live in the Midwest in general, you know that the winters here are just harsh. They're not fun, they're snowy, they're cold, and several months out of the year, you're gonna be locked up indoors unless you like being outside in the cold. Our next con is going to be limited nightlife. There's plenty of great bars and restaurants in Frankfort. I mentioned a few earlier. Overall though, compared to the city of Chicago, the nightlife scene in the city of Chicago, Frankfort just doesn't compare, it doesn't stack up. Obviously, it's in a suburb. The suburbs are far more quiet. They're well known for not being as lively, as entertaining as big cities such as Chicago. So just know if you're moving maybe from a big city like Chicago or some other big city in general, you're not gonna have this incredible nightlife scene in Frankfort. The good news is it's a quick 35-40 minute drive into the city if you wanna experience all of that. Okay, our last con is going to be property taxes. As many of you watching probably know, Illinois is not known for its low property taxes. Quite the contrary, actually. Illinois has some of the highest property taxes in the entire country, and Frankfort is no exception, unfortunately. For me, it's all I've ever known. I grew up here. I don't know any better. So for me, it just is what it is. If you're watching this and you maybe live in California or something like that, you move here, it's not gonna really affect you as much because you're used to it. But if you're coming from somewhere like Texas, Tennessee, or some other place with lower property taxes, it could be a total shock to the system. So just be aware, higher property taxes in Frankfort. You can expect to pay about 2 to 2.5% of your home's value in property taxes every year. But property taxes do vary based on your situation. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for my top 5 pros and cons of living in Frankfort. I hope you got some valuable insight from this video. And again, if you need to buy real estate or sell real estate in the Frankfort area or the Chicagoland area in general, give me a call, give me a text, give me an email. I'm happy to help you out. All my contact information is below in the description of this video and it's on the screen. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next video.